Welcome to the Common Sense Show. Here trying to bring common sense to the tube. So we know what happened with Damar Hamlin, and I'm happy to know that he's recovering well. And old Skip Bayless tweeted something and got Twitter in an uproar. So if you don't remember what Skip tweeted, I will read it. It states, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant." That's what Skip tweeted. And some people took Skip to task, calling him all kind of names and everything. Right? They were just finished with Skip. But I'm gonna play a video by Stephen A. Smith and Marcellus Wiley, and some may be shocked at what they had to say, right? And some may not. Now, Stephen A. was on a Draymond Green show when he talked about the tweet from Skip Bayless. And Marcellus Wiley was on his own show when he did the same thing. Now, we're going to listen to both. Let me know if this changes your opinion of Skip Bayless a little or no way, no how. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel because I'm just trying to bring some common sense to the tube once again. First up, Stephen A. being interviewed by Draymond Green. Let's listen.
What's your opinion and thoughts on Skip? And then to double down and say, oh no, I stand on that even after knowing the condition that he's in. I guess for me, I can respect you saying you stand on your opinion. I can respect that, but at the same time, it feels low.
First of all, let me get this out the way. Skip was wrong. Plain and simple. If we were on first take together and he was sitting across from me, I'd have told him he was wrong. There's no doubt about that. And that needs to be said. At that particular moment in time, you can use a phrase, feel in the room. You can use whatever other phrases that you want. But at the end of the day, it reached a point where it was not about football. It was not about games. It was about a young man's life being on the line. So there's no defending that. And I agreed with Shannon Sharp's position on that. Having said that, what I will say, and there were people that wrote articles that Stephen A. came to the defense. No, I didn't. But I did explain. What I mean by that is, number one, it's important that I preface any comment about Skip Bayless in terms of saying this. Draymond, I'm not here today if it were not for Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is the one that brought me on First Take. And I will never walk around like I don't owe that man a lot. But I disagreed with him after I owed him that on First Take every day. So why can't I disagree with him now? And why wouldn't I disagree with him in the future? I'm sure he would disagree with me. I promise you he disagrees with what I'm saying right now. That comes with it. But remember when I talked about attacking what someone does as opposed to attacking them? Mm-hmm. I've known Skip for 20 years. I know people who despise him. I know people who think the worst of him. I know all of these different things. I'm not one of those people. And I will always have love for my man. I think he was wrong, but I also knew what mistake he made. Dre, he's looking at the game, and here's what he's thinking about. He's seen Jack Tatum paralyze Darryl Stingley. He saw Michael Irvin on the turf at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, believably paralyzed. He just recently saw Tua Tagovailoa get carried off the same field in Cincinnati by ambulance and was concussed. I mean, his body stiffened up like it had rigor mortis kicked in. And throughout NFL history, which Skip Bayless has been covering since the 70s, he's seen the game continue. And a lot of times people are not taking that into account. You can say we're living in a different time. That is true. We are living in a different time. But you also have others who hold on to a certain culture. Now, sometimes they hold on to certain cultures in the world of politics. We don't like that. World of news, don't like that. Social justice issues, we damn sure don't like that. But in the world of sports, there's tens of millions of people who hold on to the way things used to be, which is what the new media, as you like to call yourself, right, like to bring up. How you got cats that hold on to it. What I'm saying to you, Draymond, well, that's who you're talking about. That's the guy. The guy that is like, this is the way that things were done. This is what customarily happened. So he wasn't tweeting like, the hell with this guy's well-being or health or anything like that. I know Skip Bayless enough to know that he cares whether or not the Damar Hamlin lives or dies. And people that extended themselves to accuse him of that, I think are totally wrong. But was he guilty of, okay, well, serious stuff has happened before? Because remember, we know it's serious. We know they're trying to resuscitate him, but we don't know the particulars. Well, okay, they're going to take him out in the ambulance, and then the game is going to continue. I know a lot of people who felt exactly that, but not necessarily because it should. They're saying it because that's been the history of the NFL. But times have changed. And I would have said to him, fair enough, thinking that he believed what I just articulated. I would have said, fair enough, but you know better.
So did that change the way you felt about Skip's tweet on Damar Hamlin? I think Stephen A. brought out a good point about Skip Bayless' mindset. We have to understand something about Skip Bayless. Sad to say, his job is so tied up, I believe, in his self-worth, that's all he sees. Because Skip Bayless says his wife comes sucker to his show. Now let's listen to Marcellus Wiley.
Skip's tweet. And there was nothing wrong with Skip's tweet, except you hit send at the wrong Pacific time. You know what I'm saying? Max used to always say this. Max Kellerman, my dog. He said, the time to clown the fat girl is not when she's coming from the gym with the sweaty wristbands. Y'all understand what that means? Basically, there's a time and place for everything. And certainly the time is not when they're trying to do something else or it's trying times. And Skip kind of missed that one. I thought the same thing he thought. I wasn't going to tweet it. I ain't thirsty for social like that. I'm not about to say, my first thought and my first impulse, here we go, send. And that's what got him in trouble. The timing. But what he said, somebody was really not only thinking that, somebody was saying that, and somebody was living that out for the NFL. So I ain't have a problem with the tweet.
So Marcellus stated that he and others were thinking the same thing, right? But he didn't tweet it. He said, I'm not thirsty for social media like that. But Skip did. And with 3 million followers, more or less, woo, man, sent shockwave through Twitter. And like they said, what Skip said was going to be thought about. But timing is everything. That was not the right time. I agree with that 100%. That was not the right time to say that. But I think a lot of people, the way they came at Skip, was kind of over the top, sad to say. Even though Skip timing was completely wrong. And I don't have a problem with them being over the top. I'm going to tell you why. Because Skip refused to apologize. All he had to say, hey, you know what? I apologize for thinking about that or tweeting it at that time. Even though it was on my mind, I want to apologize for that. And he wouldn't apologize for it. He said, hey, I'm standing by it. Okay, stand by it. I'm glad Damar, though, did not die, especially on that field, but did not die at all. Let me make that clear. I'm glad that man is still alive. I don't want to say, well, I'm glad he didn't die on the field and he died in the hospital. That's not what I'm saying. No, glad the man did not die at all. But it was an NFL player by the name of Chuck Hughes. He's the only NFL player to die on the field during a game. Hughes died of a heart attack on October the 24th, 1971, after collapsing on the field while running back to the huddle after a play. Died right on the field, probably while his family was in the stand and watching on TV. So, thank you for taking time out of your time to look at the video. Once again, please like and subscribe and share it with others if you think they will appreciate this content. Raw sanity, common sense.